Next up are Jay and Chip, who have 52 years of marketing experience between the two of them. You're in good hands if you're looking for a roadmap to scale your agency aggressively and drive more growth than ever before for your clients this year. Jay and Chip, the stage is yours.
Welcome, everybody. Fantastic to be with you at Ad World. This session, hopefully your favorite session of the entire conference, 5 non-negotiables to grow your agency in 2021. I am Jay Baer, founder of Convince and Convert. He is Chip House, CMO of SharpSpring, with you today. Chip, how are you?
I'm great. Jay, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Here's a more of a headshot version of the two of us. We're going to class this sucker up a little bit, but we're going to tell you all about how to make this the best year you have ever had for your agency. Chip and I collaborated on this presentation, and it's based on my work with agencies for dozens of years, and of course, SharpSpring's work with how many agencies do you serve now, Chip?
Yeah, there's a few thousand agencies that use our platform. We really focus on agencies, and there's about 10,000 overall businesses using SharpSpring today. So thanks for joining us today, Jay, and really glad to have everybody with us.
I should say I'm also a SharpSpring customer at my
You
firm,
are?
Convince and Convert. We love the platform. It truly is the revenue growth platform. We don't have a lot of time. We got 5 things to tell you. So let's start with the first one, shall we? The first thing that we think is non-negotiable in terms of growing your agency in 2021 is to decide on your why us. I mean, the reality is this: there is not really any set of agency services that you have to your own. No matter what you do, you've got competition that does fundamentally the same thing. So one of the most important things you can do is be crystal clear on what is it about your firm that makes you different, special, interesting, worthy of the client's time, attention, and money. And it's not your customer service, and it's probably not your proprietary process, which is not proprietary. You've got to have a story. My friend Tom Webster calls this the theory of the firm. What's the point of this organization? Well, what I call it in my company is the campfire songs. You ever go to camp, Chip, when you were a kid? You ever go to camp?
Of course. Yeah, you bet.
And
Loved
they
it.
teach you songs around the campfire, right? And even now, if I said, sing some of the songs that you learned as a boy, you could probably remember them because they tell you the same songs over and over. Works the same way in your agency. Figure out what the 3 to 5 kind of core stories are, rationales for the firm, and be able to repeat those over and over. Merchandise their stories on your homepage, your About Us page, in your blog posts, in your website navigation. But it's not just about reinforcing those stories on your digital properties that you own. You've got to reinforce those stories everywhere. Every time you're a podcast guest, on your LinkedIn profile, when you do a speaking engagement, make sure that people know what you're about. And what you're about is not, we're an agency, because that's not a story.
Not highly differentiated, really, either.
No, there's thousands of agencies. The second thing on a related topic is to add humanity and voice everywhere. You do not want to fall into the trap of feeling, looking, sounding like every other agency in the world. And the one thing that's true about all agencies, Chip, is that they are a collection of people. It is a people-based business. And so the best thing you can do is emphasize that, right? To actually reinforce it with how you talk about your organization online and offline.
People do business with people, right? And so being able to highlight, especially as an agency, the talent, the people in your agency is just critical. And there are a bunch of humans that work for you, and let the humans come out.
Absolutely. This is a great example here from Web Dev Studios and how they handle their bios on their website, right? They got all kinds. There's a Baby Yoda appearance there. There's all kinds of things that people love in their personal life and their professional life. Your tone of voice and how you create content on your website needs to be something other than incredibly boring as well. more photos, more videos. One of the things that we do when we're working with clients is if there's no pictures of people on the website and you're in a people-focused business like an agency, you really need to fix that in our estimation. Third thing, focus on problems you solve, not just what services you offer. This has been true ever since the first caveman sold an arrowhead to another caveman. Nobody needs an arrowhead. They need something sharp to pierce the skin of a woolly mammoth. Nobody in history, Chip, has ever needed socks. But everybody in history has needed their feet to be warmer. And that's the difference between talking about problems you solve and services you offer. And this seems so simple, but it gets overlooked so often that services are a means to an end, not the end. I mean, even something like SEO. So many agencies say, well, we're really good at search engine optimization. Okay. Well, you can't pay a mortgage with a Google ranking. Even SEO is a means to an end, not an end. So you've got to reframe all your website copy around this principle of what you actually do to help, not just the services that you offer. And Chip, I love here on the right-hand side of this slide, kind of how this is framed up at SharpSpring.
I think it's a great point, Jay. I mean, if you need a hole in a mammoth, you need an arrowhead. If you need a hole in the wall, you need a drill. But in our situation, we tried to articulate specifically what we're trying to do and what we are delivering to our customers. And by and large, they're looking for those things, right? They're looking for leads. They're looking for moving those leads down the funnel and closing them ultimately with their sales team. So that's what we've tried to boil down and just make it clear.
Absolutely. In my own organization, Convince and Convert, we actually wrote a web page that really epitomizes this premise. And in fact, it's one of the most popular pages on the site. It's called 17 Problems We Solve. And it's the 17 problems that we solve for corporate clients. Like, it couldn't be more obvious than that. And it really does. It really does work. The fourth thing that we want to talk to you about is making sure that you name your ideal customers and create lead magnets. This is the year, friends. If you have not historically gone through the process of figuring out 100 or so clients, potential clients, that would be perfect for your firm, please do that. Some would call that account-based marketing. Some would call it a really good sense of personas and ideal customers. It doesn't really matter which taxonomy you use, but the principle of saying, we're going to figure out who our best clients are will make you such a better marketer, such a better communicator, such a better agency. But Chip, I'm sure you see this too. Very few agencies actually go through this process. It's kind of like, well, yeah, we typically get these kind of clients, but sometimes we get this other kind from word of mouth, and sometimes we get this other kind randomly. It's sort of like firing bullets off into the air, hoping that a bird flies by simultaneously, which is not a very reliable business development strategy.
Yeah, since I've been at this game of marketing, I think I've seen this evolve over years and years, and marketers are getting more sophisticated versus just cramming a bunch of leads at the top of the funnel that don't really match what the salespeople want if you're in a B2B business. So one idea is go talk to the people who talk to your customers, right? Do the research, obviously, both qualitatively and quantitatively, just to better understand who you're doing business with today. And let me tell you, your salespeople will have an opinion about who likes to buy your product.
No doubt. And once you have those kind of conversations and do that kind of research, you can create some really rich personas that represent those key target accounts. Also understand to whom you're selling in the target accounts. Is it the CMO, the owner, IT professional? Understand the role of your likely customer. And then what's neat is in SharpSpring, you can build lists and actually follow those individuals, keep track of what they're doing, have a very detailed notes section in the database. And it can really make you a much better sales organization when you have this kind of information. Then once you have these key customers identified, create content that these key customers love, that they cannot resist, that they simply must download. For example, the Essential B2B Digital Marketing Toolkit, or on the lower right there, Chip, is a thing that we worked on together called Accelerate Your Agency.
Right, and we arrived at that, obviously really understanding our ideal customer profile, which is sort of small and medium-sized agencies that offering, full service and a lot of different services. And they are interested in how to build their agency, how to make their customers better, how to grow their clients. And so that was, the kind of content that was there. So an ideal lead magnet obviously is something that your ideal customers and those personas within your ideal customers are interested in.
Absolutely. And then when you have this kind of downloadable lead magnet, you of course want to promote it with search, with social, with video summaries works really well. And then of course you want to create a landing page in SharpSpring to hold each of those assets and then be able to track interactions with that content. Which brings us
the landing page. I
Go ahead,
was just going to say, Jay, so the landing page, right, is something that many marketers and agencies are used to having now that you maybe didn't have 5 years ago. You might have had a phone number, you might have had a vanity URL or something that somebody was going to go to. Some of those things are still, some of those things are relevant, but the optimized landing page, speaking to a specific type of lead and the specific message is there's no better thing to do.
Absolutely, which very coincidentally brings us to number 5, which is to score your leads and then nurture them to fruition. I got to tell you, I've been doing this now. I've been in the agency business really since 1993. And one of my observations is that it's pretty rare that somebody calls you, emails you, fills out a form, what have you, and says, "We're ready to go. Here's our money." Right? It's usually they've been paying attention to you over a long period of time, and now they're ready. It's not at all atypical in my own firm to close business that we've been working for 2 years. 2 years.
Sure.
And you have to have a business set up to identify and nurture those leads over time. You're not selling chicken sandwiches, right? You're selling professional services, and it's going to take a little longer to bring those to the finish line. And that, friends, is where SharpSpring can most definitely help.
And as you know, Jay, I'm a huge Seth Godin fan. I'm obviously a Jay Baer fan, but I'm a Seth Godin fan as well. And he wrote, this is over 20 years ago, he wrote Permission Marketing, and he talked about the story of, hey, you don't walk into a singles bar if you want to get married and start proposing marriage to people. That is not how you get married. You have to start by building relationships. And so when I think about kind of the holistic nature of the SharpSpring platform, is we're trying to help our customers build relationships throughout the customer lifecycle. And one of the ways we do that is providing reporting to our customers. One of the things we provide is called Life of the Lead. And I'll show you what that means.
This is the Life
of the Lead.
Track every interaction of the customer lifecycle. And that's no joke, right?
It's no joke at all. And so what you're seeing there is sort of a zoom in of what that tracking would look like for your company for a specific lead. You literally get to see every interaction point. And I did a drill in on the next few slides, Jay, to show how that comes to life. But understanding how your customers are interacting with you on social and literally understanding the date and what they interacted with, then they might visit your website and complete a landing page, after they've come to your website, which I think I have shown there on the next build. And then, also retargeting, right? I mean, as a marketer now in your toolkit, you can use retargeting to engage the portion of people that visit your website but don't convert the first time in. They're still out there. They're still interested, learning about you and thinking about you, as Jay mentioned, maybe for weeks, months, years before they ended up, working with you. So maybe they'll come back from that retargeting ad and they'll fill out a landing page. You might have yet a few interactions with them as well. You can engage with them via a drip campaign. Many of our customers set these up in an automated fashion inside of our platform. And then, once they are ready, you maybe even can bring them over to the sales team and provide your sales team with the emails and the call scripts to actually close the business. So that's how we think about the life of the lead. One of the things that makes this really compelling using marketing automation and sales automation is lead scoring, Jay. And I know you're familiar with lead scoring.
Absolutely. We use it all the time in my organization using SharpSpring. So just like Chip just showed, we track and assign different points for when somebody interacts with a social post, when somebody reads our blog, when somebody subscribes to our email newsletter, downloads a lead magnet, and all the other things. And each of those behaviors adds points. And when somebody hits a certain points threshold, it sends an email to me and to our head of sales, and then we follow up with a phone call, an email, set an appointment, etc. And what's really cool about that, as Chip showed a minute ago, it does track, once the visitor is de-anonymized, it does track what web pages they've been to. So what's really slick is when we have a sales conversation, we know for a fact whether or not that person has ever visited a services page, a pricing page, a case study page, if so, which case study. Talk about being able to have an intelligent sales conversation. You just look into the life of the lead and you can really move the sales conversation forward more quickly.
Yeah, again, and then your prospect, your lead is being treated like an individual, a human versus just, a number basically when you add that level of personalization. So, how this works if you are a marketer is you can identify, again, the types of people that you like to and score them more, and then identify their interaction with your brand over time. And those people will score the highest. And then, Jay, I know you use this feature in SharpSpring, being able to set up visual workflows to engage with specific segments in an automated fashion.
Absolutely. And I'm glad we have this screenshot in here because it really is that easy. So, for example, we'll have a lead magnet, like we built one a little bit ago called The Best Websites Amongst America's Top Universities. We do a lot of work for higher ed. So, my team evaluated the websites of the top 50 largest universities in the United States. We built a lead magnet that kind of ranks their websites based on some scoring that we put together. We promoted that lead magnet. A lot of university marketers came to the website. We lead scored them. But then once they downloaded that lead magnet, we built a nurturing sequence to follow up with, hey, did you know that we also have this service and we solve this problem? And did you know we also have some podcast episodes that you might be interested in and some videos? And would you like to maybe talk about what you've got going on for next semester, et cetera? And all of that happens automatically. And you just drag and drop and say, I want this to happen 5 days later, drag. I want this to happen 6 days later, drag. It is really easy. A lot of times you talk about marketing automation and this kind of workflow, and you see a graphic like this and you think, oh, sure, that's cool, but it's not actually that easy. Trust me, I am a customer. It is literally that easy.
Yeah, I think, Jay, every marketer worth their salt these days is using this kind of personalized automated messaging, and it's just smart.
Absolutely.
We're to the end already, Jay.
A lot of times
Unbelievably.
agencies do it, right? But they might do
Yeah,
it for clients, but they're not doing it for themselves. We've heard that cobbler's
right.
children have no shoes. I want you to buy some shoes, people. And these are the 5 non-negotiables that Chip and I have shared. Decide on your why us. Add humanity and voice everywhere. Focus on the problems you solve, not just the services you offer. Name your ideal customers and create lead magnets that they'll love. And then score your leads and nurture them to fruition over time. Chip, tell me a little bit more about SharpSpring.
Yeah, I think that's a great transition to what SharpSpring does. If you think about a typical tech stack that you might be struggling with in your agency now, right? You might have a number of different pieces of software from a number of different providers, and it's difficult to connect. They don't share the common CRM or database. And very much SharpSpring is a solution to that. So we allow you to grow in ways you simply can't with standalone tools, because every element of SharpSpring works together to drive conversions and revenue throughout the customer lifecycle, from attract, capture, engage, convert, expand your relationships with your customers, And that's really how we think about the platform itself. It all works together across all those different software features, uh, really to help you be responsive to your customer's lifecycle.
No doubt. In fact, there's some things that aren't even on that slide, like chat bots and a bunch of other amazing tools that are part of the the SharpSpring system. Uh, get a demo. If you haven't had a demo of SharpSpring, I absolutely suggest you do that. You just go to sharpspring.com and big giant button, can't miss it, says get a demo. But Chip, there's a special offer for AdWorld as well. How does that work?
Well, we'd love to have you visit our site or go to the AdWorld perks page and check out the special offer. We're offering a special for taking advantage of SharpSpring, which starts again, as Jay said, by taking a demo. And obviously, no commitment to take a demo. We'd love to show the platform to you and show you how life of the lead and things like that can help you out. Thank you very much, Jay, and thanks for everyone for attending today. Super glad that you showed up to see our session.
We really enjoyed it, friends. This has been 5 non-negotiables to grow your agency in 2021. I'm Jay Baer. He's Chip House. If you've got questions, you can reach Chip at chiph@sharpspring.com. Thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the show.
soon.